Atrahasis made ready to speak, and said to his lord, "Make me know the meaning of the dream. Let me know, that I may look out for its consequence." Enki made ready to speak, and said to his servant, "You might say, am I to be looking out while in the bedroom? Do you pay attention to the message that I speak for you? Wall, listen to me. Reed wall, pay attention to all my words. Flee house, build boat. Forsake possessions and save life. The boat that you build, be equal. Cover her with tarpaulins. Roof her over like the depths, so that the sun will not see inside her. Let her be roofed over fore and aft. The gear should be very firm. The pitch should be firm. Make her strong. I shall shower down upon you later a windfall of birds, a spate of fishes." He opened the water clock and filled it. He told it of the coming of the 7-day deluge. Atrahasis received the command. He assembled the elders at his gate. Atrahasis made ready to speak, and said to the elders, "My God does not agree with your God. Enki and Enlil are constantly angry with each other. They have expelled me from the land. Since I have always reverenced Enki, he told me this: I cannot live in, nor can I set my feet on the earth of Enlil. I shall dwell with my God in the depths. This my God Enki told me." The elders, the carpenter carried his axe, the reed worker carried his stone, the rich man carried the pitch, the poor man brought the materials needed, bringing whatever he had. Pure animals he slaughtered, cattle. Fat animals he killed, sheep. He chose and brought on board. The birds flying in the heavens, the cattle and of the cattle god. The creatures of the steppe he brought on board. He invited his people to a feast. His family he brought on board. While one was eating and another was drinking, he went in and out. He could not sit. He could not take his place. For his heart was broken. He was retching gall. The outlook of the weather changed. Adad began to roar in the clouds. The gods, they heard his clamour. He brought pitch to seal his door. By the time he had bolted his door, Adad was roaring in the clouds. The winds were furious as he set forth. He cut the mooring rope. He released the boat. The storm were yoked. Anzu rent the sky with his talons. He broke its clamour like a pot. The flood came forth. Its destructive power came upon the peoples like a battle. One person did not see another. They could not recognize each other in the catastrophe. The deluge bellowed like a bull. The wind resounded like a screaming eagle. The darkness was dense. The sun was gone. The offspring became like flies. The gods became afraid of the clamour of the deluge. They took refuge in heaven. They crouched outside. Anu became afraid of the clamour of the deluge. It was terrifying the gods. Enki was beside himself that his sons were carried off before him. Nintu, the great lady, gnawed her lip in agony. The Anuna, the great gods, were sitting in thirst and hunger. The goddess saw it, weeping. The midwife of the gods, the wise Mami. Let the day grow dark, let it turn back to gloom. In the assembly of the gods, how did I agree with them on annihilation? Was Enlil so strong that he forced me to speak? Like that Tiruru, did he make my speech confused? Of my own accord, from myself alone, to my own charge have I heard my people's clamour. My offspring, with no help from me, have become like flies. As for me, how to dwell in this abode of grief, my clamour fallen silent? Shall I go up to heaven? I would take up my dwelling in a well-larded house. Where has Anu gone to, the chief decision-maker, whose sons, the gods, heeded his command? He who irrationally brought about the flood and relegated the peoples to catastrophe. Nintu was wailing. As dragonflies a watercourse, they have filled the sea. Like rafts they lie against the river meadow. Like rafts capsized, they lie against the bank. I saw them and wept over them. I have exhausted my lamentation for them. She wept, giving vent to her feelings, while Nintu wailed. Her emotion was spent. The gods wept with her for the land. She had her fill of woe. She was thirsty for beer. Where she sat weeping, they too sat. Like sheep they filled a stream bed. Their lips were agonized with thirst. They were suffering pangs of hunger. 7 days and 7 nights, there came the deluge, the storm, the flood. To the 4 winds he cast. He was raining down food. The gods sniffed the savour. They were gathered like flies around the offering. After they had eaten the offering, Nintu arose to rail against all of them. Where has Anu come to, the chief decision-maker? Has Enlil drawn nigh the incense? They who irrationally brought about the flood and relegated the peoples to catastrophe? You resolved upon annihilation, so now the people's bright countenances are turned grey. Then she drew nigh the big fly that Anu had. Mine is their woe, proclaim my destiny. Let him get me out of my misery, let him show me the way. Let these flies be jewellery around my neck, that I may remember it every day and forever. The warrior Enlil saw the vessel and was filled with anger at the Igigi gods. All we great Anuna gods resolved together on an oath. Where did life escape? How did a man survive the catastrophe? Anu made ready to speak and said to the warrior Enlil, who could have done this but Enki? He revealed the command. Enki made ready to speak and said to the great gods, I did it indeed for your sakes. I am responsible for safeguarding life. Impose your penalty on the wrongdoer, for who is it that disregards your command? Enlil made ready to speak and said to Ea the leader, Come, summon Nintu the birth goddess. Do you and she take counsel together in the assembly. Enki made ready to speak and said to Nintu the birth goddess, You, birth goddess, creatress of destinies, establish death for the peoples. Now then, let there be a 3rd woman among the people. Among the people are the woman who has borne and the woman who has not borne. Let there be also among the people the she-demon. Let her snatch the baby from the lap of her who bore it. Establish high priestesses and priestesses. Let them be taboo, and so cut down childbirth. How we brought about the flood, but man survived the catastrophe. You, counselor of the great gods, at your command I have brought her to be. This my song is for your praise. May the Igigi gods hear. Let them extol your great deed to each other. I have sung of the flood to all peoples. Listen.